Welcome back, everyone, to episode 3 of the Girlies and the Besties. Today, we are going to be talking kind of about conspiracy theories and superstitions. Ooh. Spooky. So, is that a theme song?
Yeah, it's the Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone.
Oh, I didn't remember how that goes, but I love this. I love conspiracy theories. Not a big fan of superstitions.
Yeah.
Just I'm a little superstitious myself,
And then I get scared.
Anytime someone's like, "Ooh, let's talk about scary stories," I'm like, no.
Do you guys want to play a Ouija board?
No. It sounded like you said Luigi board.
Luigi board.
A Luigi board?
Is it
no
Ouija or
way.
Ouija?
It's Ouija.
Ouija?
I say Ouija.
Yeah.
You said Ouija?
A Ouija board?
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, because
Yeah, I think the O is silent.
Yeah.
Okay, let me look it up.
Well, either way, no, I would never do that. I would never mess with that stuff. So
It's funny. It doesn't work.
I had actually, you know what? Let's get into the episode before we even start talking about this stuff, because then I'm gonna dive right into it, and then I'm gonna totally throw Nancy off with everything. So you're looking it up.
Ouija board.
See?
Ouija.
See?
It's a Ouija board.
A Ouija.
A squeegee. Squeegee board. Oh, Kipchi, you just farted. Thank gay butt. Okay. Yeah, so we're gonna start off with some lighthearted ones, like lighthearted Disney ones,
Yes.
and then we'll get into the more of the
Spooky kind of.
yeah, lighthearted conspiracy theories for Disney, and then other conspiracy theories people have, and then we'll do the a little spookier, like curses, superstitions, other stuff.
Sounds good.
All right. Okay, the first one. This one's a little long, but I don't know if I'm gonna read the first one or the entire thing. Okay, so it's r/Disney theories, and the title is Lilo and Stitch is about autism.
What?
Oh.
I've never heard of that
These
one.
are theories.
I have not heard
remember?
about that.
Yeah.
Intentionally or not, Lilo is one of the best portals of autistic characters in all of cinema, and Stitch is a brilliant allegory for the struggle of being on the autism spectrum.
Oh.
Many before me has pointed out that Lilo shows classic signs of being high-functioning autistic. She has a hard time relating to her peers, struggles with regulating her emotions, has several special interests, and exhibits repetitive/obsessive behaviors. Which it never really, while it never really explicitly stated that Lilo is autistic, and some of these traits can be explained by emotional trauma, this does not preclude her from being autistic. A lot of autistic people, including myself, found her to be extremely relatable, as I have heard from others in the community. Lilo may be the most obviously autistic, unintentionally autistic character out there. Her struggles mirror many of our struggles we as autistic people face in our own childhoods. If we interpret her as autistic, then she is one of the biggest pieces of representations we have.
Wow.
Yeah, one example is at the beginning of the film, she messes up in her performance because of something she felt she had to do. Her justifications made perfect sense to her, but seemed utterly bizarre to her teacher. She tries to befriend the other girls, but they see her, see that she is different and ostracize her. Lilo responds by lashing out against them. The struggle to relate to others and understanding what is expected of her is all too familiar and relatable. Lilo's issues are especially difficult paired with her and her sister Nani's situation having drawn the attention of social services, with Nani struggling to support her and her sister after the death of their parents. When the social worker, Cobra Bubbles, meets Lilo, he can tell she is not neurotypical. He knows kids like Lilo don't do well in the system, so he gives Nani every chance he can, and his hands are tied. He suggests getting Lilo a dog, because dogs are extremely helpful for our social and emotionally development of autistic children. This leads Lilo to meeting the little blue creature she named Stitch. Despite a rocky start, this creature will become the friend who helps her deal with her feelings and mend her broken family. And then in terms of Stitch, he himself is a brilliant representation of the struggles autistic people face. In the beginning, Stitch embodies the chaotic, disruptive, but misunderstood nature of autism. When we first see him, he is sentenced to exile simply for existing as what he is, shoved away out of sight by a system that was not made to handle him. This is the unfortunate reality that those with autism have faced throughout the history, and still face in much of the world. When Stitch first arrives on Earth, he is only interested in self-preservation and satisfying his compulsions. But things start to change when he starts to care about Lilo. He begins to struggle with his nature. We even see him masking by retracting his little limbs, his extra limbs, pretending to be a normal dog. Masking is when autistic people hide their autistic traits by putting on a normal act in a social situation. But he learns to trust Lilo and eventually put down the mask around her and Nani. He realizes he is more than his programming and does not want to be a monster, who he was made to be. But beyond that, he understands how lost and alone he truly is, but with the love and guidance from Lilo, Stitch is able to find more productive outlets for his chaotic energy.
More reproductive. Whoa.
Fun facts. Organisms that can self-reproduce is called asexual.
Not photosynthesis.
Not
Or
mitochondria. Yahoo bags. Stitch is able to find more productive outlets for his chaotic energy, and he finds purpose in his little broken family. In the end, he uses that chaotic energy to protect his newfound family. Knowing you are different and feeling lost and isolated because of this, because it is something that most people on the autism spectrum can relate to. The message, "You are more than your condition," is an important one for people in the spectrum, especially children.
Wow.
Yeah. Ultimately, Lilo finds what she truly needed in Stitch as a friend and a brother. Stitch finds what he needed as a purpose and a family. In the end, Cobra Bubbles see how Lilo and Stitch need each other, and the Grand Councilwoman sees that Stitch is not the monster she dismissed him as. The two manage to keep the family together, and the film ends.
Wow.
Yeah, I never thought about it that way before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually did work with children on the spectrum before I started doing my job now. So I'm like, when I hear that theory, I'm like, oh, actually, I can totally see that because I did work with. Now, the thing is that I've been told, so it's kind of like a hit or miss. It's like by saying like it's higher functioning, lower functioning. I'm like, it's hard because some people say that can be offensive still. And
Yeah.
but just from what I know, I'm gonna say lower functioning and higher functioning. Apologies to anybody that it offends. I don't know what else to kind of trade it out with,
For the lack of better words.
yes. But yes. So I'm like, I can totally see that because people with autism on the spectrum who are kind of like lower functioning are more not challenging. Well, I guess challenging is the word to kind of work with. And society has that norm of this is what normal looks like. And then if you kind of stray from that, you're not normal. And then it's like harder to try and manage or deal with. So I can see that. However, I always thought of Lilo as just like a kid who is going through it because she doesn't have her parents.
Yeah.
She has Nani, her older sister. However, Nani can only do so much as a sister, right? And like, so she's busy like working, trying to make money. She can't necessarily shift from the role of her sister and then try to shift to the role of mom, because that's weird. But it's interesting. I've always only ever thought about like she's a kid who's been through a lot. Now I know in the post they do say like trauma and stuff definitely can play a role in it, but
Did they ever tell us what happened to the parents in Lilo and
I
Stitch?
think they died.
Yeah, they died. Okay, so I'm not sure if this was confirmed or not, but another theory that I did not put in here was that in the beginning, she's late for her recital or her dance practice, because she was feeding her goldfish a sandwich.
Yep.
And so people were saying, oh, it might be because if she didn't, because the day that her parents died, she didn't feed the goldfish. And then, and then that's why she's so adamant about feeding the goldfish on that specific time every day or whatever.
Wow.
I forget like specifically when she feeds him, but was it Thursdays or something? I don't remember. But it's like, yeah. So people are assuming, oh, that might be why like she feels like she needs to do this because and like people are assuming like maybe they died in like a car crash. Both of them have died like assuming it's a car crash or something, and then that day she didn't feed the goldfish, and then both her parents died or something.
Which could then go into that, like, is she on the spectrum sort of thing, where she's like, I have to engage in this behavior now to kind of... However, that's... I mean, because that can be, like, that compulsion sort of thing again, too. Like OCD, right?
Yeah.
People have their like, oh, I have to like twist the doorknob 3 times or something like that, you know. So I'm like, it could be kind of a mix of just a bunch of different things, but that's an interesting theory. I've never really thought about that.
Yeah, and then how she has such weird hobbies, like taking pictures of tourists
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes.
at the beach.
Yeah.
That's funny.
We
Yeah.
need to watch it again.
Yeah.
It's
It's a good
long.
Do
movie.
you not remember it?
I do.
Oh, okay,
I do.
okay.
I do remember it.
Yeah.
I just like, I feel like I would never want to watch it by myself.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah. Because I go through it all the time whenever I'm scrolling through like Disney.
yeah.
I'm like, oh, Lilo. I'm like,
Yeah.
Another time.
no time.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was a long one, but anything else?
No, I think I.
What do you guys think about the Stitch like
I didn't.
connection?
I mean, because it's also about the spectrum, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can see that, but I feel like the movie focuses so much on just the dynamic of the two, and mainly at first just on Lilo, and so then I don't really pay attention to Stitch. Now the thing is that I don't think it necessarily even has to do with being on the spectrum. Now that's not to invalidate like that theory and say like you're wrong, that's not a good theory. But I think instead it can just kind of, because you can just look at it as a general point of view of anybody who kind of goes against societal norms will be kind of ostracized and will be judged, right? And so then in this case, I'm like, well, who necessarily is able to define like what's good or bad? So like with Stitch, for example, like they show him as destructive and as someone who doesn't follow the norms of like whatever society of those like aliens is. And so that's why they're like, oh, he's a bad one. We have to like. Well, I mean, they didn't even ship him off. They were gonna lock him up.
Yeah.
And then he escaped and did all of that. But yeah. So I'm like, again, until you read that theory, I didn't even think about it as like being on the spectrum and how challenging it can be to kind of like work with them and then ostracizing them because of behaviors, actions, things like that. Instead, I just thought of it as he's not someone who's conforming to what they want. And so because of that, they're like, okay, well, we're just going to go ahead and kind of like lock you up, put you to the side so that we aren't kind of having that destruction and like we're still having that conformity, I guess you could say, in society.
Yeah, I think the OP was talking more so of like, yeah, that, but also like perception of you as a neurotypical
Oh yes,
person.
that's right. Yeah,
because they're like, oh, you're not doing it the way we want, like we're not really into you, you know. And so they deemed him as a monster. And so he didn't know any better to like the word. Like he just became what they wanted him to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then when someone actually showed him like love and care, like Lilo, then he like betters himself. But that's not to say, oh yeah, you give love and care to any neurotypical autism person with autism, it's like you'll cure them. Like,
Right.
no.
Yeah. I feel like I can't say much because I don't know much about I don't know, is this the right phrase? People on the spectrum? Is that the right phrase?
Yeah, because it's people first. Well, I mean, it depends. Some people who are on the spectrum say it's like what is it, like identity first or something like that, or person first language versus like diagnosis
Person
or
with
whatever
autism
versus
instead of
like autistic person.
Yeah.
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 So I always say person with autism to be safe, because I feel like it's really a question to kind of ask people. But yeah, so I would say yeah.
Yeah, I can't say much. I don't know much about this topic specifically.
Yeah.
But that's an interesting theory, though.
It is, yeah.
I know people who are on the spectrum, but I haven't really interacted with them as much. So
That's the thing, is that I did work with people on the spectrum, and it's very interesting. Because again, you have the lower functioning and then you have the higher functioning, and the higher functioning, because they're higher functioning, they almost seem like any like quote unquote normal person in society. You're kind of like, oh wow, like I wouldn't have guessed you were like on the spectrum until you told me, sort of thing, versus like the lower functioning where you have to kind of like help. I did ABA, so I was an RBT, which is a registered behavior technician, which helps in that field. And so what we do is just we teach helpful behaviors and kind of like replacement behaviors for unhealthy and unhelpful behaviors, I guess. So it was a very interesting kind of like field to work with. I feel like definitely it's something that everyone should try and do so we get a better understanding of just like people on the spectrum and kind of the challenges that they face versus assuming that they're weird and like the kind of like the Stitch thing or of like they're monsters because they are different and like neurotypical. So, but yeah.
Interesting.
None of that's confirmed, but obviously it resonated with a bunch of neurotypical people. So.
Yeah. That's interesting. That's cool.
Yeah. Okay, the next one is a connection between Encanto and Hercules.
Oh,
Hercules?
yeah.
Hercules.
Encanto?
Encanto, you know that one?
Yeah. I know the theory of Hercules and Enchanted.
I don't know that one.
You don't know that one?
You can say it
I
after.
don't know that one either.
Yeah, you can say
Okay.
it after. Okay. Could the argument be made that the Madrigal family are demigods? Isabel produces fertility, her mother is the healer, Bruno is the prophet, and Luisa is the warrior.
Ooh.
And Antonio and Pepe can control the natural state of the world, animals, and weather, respectively. They are like a family of gods, similar to the Greek gods. My theory is that the miracle is the same as the godship given to Hercules at the end of the film as a result of his selfless sacrifice to save Megara's soul, where Pedro is the one who sacrificed himself, and therefore his family gets the miracle from the gods. The only difference between Pedro and Hercules' sacrifice is that Pedro is fundamentally moral, thus cannot be resurrected from death, which is why the miracle was gifted to the family instead of resurrecting Pedro.
I feel like I got lost in that second half, to be honest.
Okay,
Wait,
so you know how like when Hercules saves Meg from the underworld, so he brings her back and then he like dies himself, but because it was a selfless act, a heroic act or something, then the gods gifted him immortality again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And
So their OP is saying that because Pedro, which is the grandpa, Apolito.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he sacrificed himself to save the rest of the village because they were getting chased by the bad guys or whatever. And then they were crossing the river. He left to go distract them, and then everyone else lived. And so he sacrificed himself. So then the gods gave his family the gift where everyone started having powers.
Oh.
And so because Pedro is human, he just couldn't get resurrected. But because Hercules was a god, and then he got poisoned by what's his name?
Hades.
Yeah, he got poisoned by Hades. So then he could go back and be a god again.
Oh, interesting. So they're saying that they're applying the same theory from Hercules basically onto.
Yeah, and because they have like powers that could connect to the Greek gods, right?
Yeah. Interesting. I've never heard of that.
I don't.
Oh, go ahead.
I don't think that's a theory or a conspiracy. I think there's a connection.
It's a theory. It's not conspiracy. Well,
so like
conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy theory, like to be directly connected to Hercules, I don't think that'll be quite a correct one.
Yeah.
I mean, connected to or inspired by Greek mythology, maybe, right? But to have a connection to Hercules, the movie itself.
You think it's not in the same universe?
Yeah, I don't think it's in the same
I don't think so either.
So, but
I think it's an interesting theory to try and find like why they get those like powers and stuff, because it's true, because in Kanto all we kind of know is that like once you hit a specific age you like open the door or whatever, and then like it shows you kind of like what your power is, and you're kind of wondering like what, like how does that even happen? And I know they kind of like talk about like what did you call it,
The gift.
not the gift, but like you
What?
said like demigods or something like that.
Oh yeah.
So I guess in a sense it could be something like that. But
I think if we saw like creatures in Kanto, I think we actually saw like mythology, like mythical creatures, or some kind of like a hydra that's connected to Hercules, or
Well,
Oh,
you know what I mean?
technically,
Like,
well, I know.
during the sister
Luisa,
Luisa's
the strong
song,
one?
yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
song. Then they did show some imagery that might be connected to Hercules,
Really?
because there is
Really?
the Colosseum
all I remember is seeing
falling
a
on top
donkey.
of her, and then she like holding it up.
yeah.
It's just like, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
I feel like I have
Could
to go
be.
back and watch
Yeah.
both movies now. It's been forever since I watched Hercules, and then Encanto is like more of like one of the newer Disney movies.
I love Encanto.
But I'm like I'm kind of with Chewie. I don't really see like as big of a connection with the two movies, but
Mhm.
But the conspiracy, the theory for Hercules and Tangled
Oh,
is
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
mother
You
is
said Enchanted. Hercules
you
and
did say Enchanted. Yeah.
I was like,
Science.
oh, really? Okay, what is it?
Wait, do you guys know the one with
No,
Tangled?
No, I don't.
No,
So,
I don't. No, I
Hercules
saying
don't.
and
that-
Yeah.
Tangled.
That mother
Mother
in Tangled
Gothel?
is Meg.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, I think I have heard this one, but I don't.
Wait, what's
yeah.
the connection?
it's kind of
How?
old. It's kind of old kind of a old theory.
An old theory. Okay.
I have
But-
never heard it before, but
So in the beginning of Hercules,
uh-huh.
they're trying to Hercules is getting fed a bottle, right?
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
But that bottle never finishes.
Mhm.
And a drop falls from the heavens onto Earth, right?
Then
So
the
they're saying-
flower blooms.
Yeah, so they're saying that
What?
that drop of like God
Uh-huh.
milk
God juice.
Why would you say it like that?
like falls on this flower,
Uh-huh.
and
Oh.
eventually after Hercules is the whole movie is
All
done.
of that, yeah.
Meg obviously as a human gets old. She finds this flower, and she
Wow.
So they're
Well,
saying-
why
Why
is
did
the
they-
assumption that that's Meg though? Because I'm like,
because of the way that she looks, her makeup, her hair, the color scheme of like what she wears.
Meg doesn't have curly hair.
She has the big poofy
Yeah.
ponytail.
Yeah,
But I
think
guess
a lot
if
of
she's
people-
getting older,
yeah.
there couldn't be changes. I don't know, but
but
that's interesting. I've
Yeah.
never heard of that theory. Wow,
so
I could totally see that.
I'll send you the
However,
TikTok for it.
yeah. But also, I'm like, I haven't watched Hercules in forever, and so then I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize that he didn't actually like drink the entire bottle.
That's
and-
why he lived, because he didn't finish every drop. So
Mhm.
he still had his powers. So I think it was supposed to kill him or something.
Yeah, because it was like poison. Well, they
Oh.
put poison in the milk or
Uh-huh.
something like that.
Oh,
So
wait, if they put poison in the milk, how did the flower survive from that?
it's God milk.
Wait, was it supposed to be poison that kills him, or was it just to make him mortal? And then the two minions were supposed to kill him.
Oh, it could be that.
Maybe
But
it was
But
that.
I think it was that, because then his adoptive parents like find him.
They
and
find
then,
him, yeah.
And then they got scared. Like the minions got scared off, and they didn't finish the job.
Huh. This is our sign to go back and
Because-
Yeah,
rewatch
we gotta
Hercules.
rewatch all these
Because
movies
the
again.
drop that they were saying that because he didn't finish like the song, I think the gospel ladies they were saying like because he didn't finish the entire bottle,
Yeah.
he still has his superpowers or his super strength,
Super strength.
Uh-huh.
and that's why he still has the super strength. But
Oh,
yes, maybe it's just to make him mortal.
maybe.
Maybe.
Interesting. Wow.
But yeah.
That's pretty cool. I didn't hear that one.
But then that wouldn't make sense for the Tangled theory. Why would a mortal potion produce a godlike flower?
You know what? I have to go back and rewatch it.
unless it's Hercules' DNA that like kind of, because he like drank the milk.
Apparently, it's God milk.
It's God milk.
God milk.
God milk.
Got milk.
But yeah, I don't know. I will have to go back and rewatch that one, and then
That's pretty cool.
I'll update you guys.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right, the next one. This one is pretty recent because, well, it's not really recent, but from Inside Out.
Ooh.
Is it Inside Out 2 or 1?
I think it's just in general.
Okay. So I was like, I haven't watched 2 yet.
I haven't
so.
either.
I haven't either. There's no spoilers in this.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay. Riley from Inside Out is non-binary.
Oh wait, I did see a TikTok of people saying to they're like, parents who are taking their kids to watch Inside Out 2, don't don't take your kids. This Inside Out 2 is for like the older kids.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, oh, so because like Riley is older.
Uh-huh.
in Inside
Oh,
Out 2,
yeah.
so, but
Did she
anyways,
have her sexual awakening? Is that why?
I don't know. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, what's the theory?
But yeah, Riley from Inside Out is non-binary.
Is there more to that?
Yep.
Because I'm like, what?
In the movie Inside Out, we see the emotions of Riley's parents, and those characters
Oh my god.
match the gender of
That's
the
what I was
person they
thinking.
control. During the credits sequence of the movie, we see that that's the same for every other character. Since this is not true for Riley, this could be evidence that she is non-binary.
Ah, okay. You know what? The moment you read that, I was like, is it based off the emotions? Because I can see
Yeah.
that too. Because when the mom, they're all like, you know what? Maybe that's not that bad after all, and they toss the orb of that one very handsome looking guy or whatever,
Yeah,
and they're all females. And then I think they do the dads too, and
yeah,
they're
the
all
dad is all
males.
males. Yeah,
And then when Riley plays hockey, she runs into that one guy. She's like, oh, sorry. She gives him his stuff. And I think his emotions, too, are all
Yeah.
guys. Because then they're like freaking out. They're like, it's a girl. She's talking to us, whatever. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I can see that, actually, because it's kind of like, well, why didn't you guys do the same thing for Riley then and her emotions? However, at the same time, I'm like, are they just trying to portray the emotions based off of kind of just like giving them different personalities?
Right, like it's like, is it just all like character for like character purposes, you know?
Yeah.
Bring different dynamics.
But then I'm like, if they cared enough to make that different detail and where like Riley has like different like male, female, whatever, and then they go and show us other people's emotions and they're specifically only female, specifically only male, I'm like, what is the meaning behind that? Is there any meaning? Interesting.
Is there more to it?
Yeah, some comments are saying, I read something one of the producers said, and her emotions were different genders for entertainment reasons and had nothing to do with non-binary
Yeah.
/
Yep.
gender confusion reasons. And another one said, I feel like it could very well just be because she's the main character and they wanted a diverse main cast. So nothing specific to the fact of her being non-binary or anything.
That's what I was thinking
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. And she
Exactly.
said, considering they explained Riley as a tomboy, kind of debunks it. She envisions them as like cartoony,
Yeah.
funny
Yeah.
characters.
Yeah, see, that's kind of what I was thinking too.
Well,
I
I
was
mean-
like, oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, but like maybe like as she gets older, like I don't know. We're about to watch Inside Out 2.
Yeah. I heard it's good.
Heard it's good too.
It's
Yeah.
good.
Well, Inside Out 1 was also really good.
It was
already,
really
I think it
good.
was.
so-
Bing bong, bing
I always
bong.
bring it up. Oh my god, I hate that scene. But I always bring up, I know, she's like, we made it, Bing Bong, we made it. And I'm like, no, you did it. You made it.
Go
You
save
did
Riley
it. Yeah.
for me.
Take her to the moon. I was like,
To the moon.
no, but I always bring up Inside Out 1 now whenever I work with my patients because it's so important to understand emotions. And I feel like, excuse me, I feel like Inside Out does a pretty good job of helping us to understand that we have all of these emotions for a reason and it's important and okay for us to feel them.
Mhm.
So it's such a good movie.
Yeah. Okay, we'll rewatch that one too.
Fine, we'll go to watch it in theaters. Stuff has the emotions.
Yeah, all right.
I'll be sadness.
What's the next one? Oh, unless you guys
yeah,
have
this
any more.
this one's funny. Okay,
Ooh.
Remy from Ratatouille is Splinter from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
What?
Sewage rat.
Jump.
Sewage
Okay.
rat equals master ninja because bro was tripping on shrooms and him cooking the food with the guy's hair was actual ninja shit.
That's
Sure.
funny.
All the comments are like, "That's facts, bro." Yes, I agree.
That's funny. No, how do you explain the size? What? Well, I mean, it's mutant. So
Maybe because he keeps eating like human food.
maybe,
Well, I mean,
but it's also that mutant aspect. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause
maybe
in,
he,
in Teenage Mutant, he also fell into a, I was gonna say acid. It's not acid.
I thought it was acid.
Uh,
It was. I don't know. I don't remember.
But yeah.
Some sort of. Yeah.
goop. Radioactive. There we go.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I could explain it.
I'm
That's
over here
funny.
like trying to think about it in my head because I'm like, no, because Spencer's a rat, and I'm like, wait, I'm pretty sure Ratatouille is a rat because that's why
he's
it's
a rat.
rats.
Ratatouille.
Yeah.
Ratatouille.
That's funny. That's a funny one. I actually
never
like
thought
that
about
one. I've
that.
never, yeah.
That's funny.
I don't know how, because I'm thinking about timelines. I don't know how accurate that would be. Because Ratatouille came out a lot later than when Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out. If anything, it could have been like a ancestor. I don't know. But I don't know if that's straight up Ratatouille. Or Remy. I keep saying Ratatouille. Ratatouille is the movie. Remy's the rat. But that's funny.
Ratatouille is a dish.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
That's funny. Not the comments saying like, "Oh, that's facts, bro."
That's facts, bro.
They're like, "Holy cow, my mind is blown."
Are there funny comments?
No, that was it.
Yeah, people
Oh.
just saying that's facts.
I like that one. That was funny.
Okay, so this one's not. That was it for the Disney
Oh, okay.
conspiracy theories. So these are r/ask Reddit. What's the weirdest, craziest conspiracy theory you have heard of? And then one commenter says traffic barrels are left up for so long because the Department of Transportation bought too many and has no place to store them.
That's funny.
Yeah, dude, those traffic barrels are.
They'd be out there
They're
fucking
there.
They're just lining the road. And they're not even
Yeah.
blocking anything.
I mean, they don't work on them for
Yeah.
like months.
Dude, if y'all got extras, give them to me.
What are you gonna do with them?
I'm gonna use it as decoration.
Well, I've seen people who like taken those cones before
Yeah,
and like brought
yeah.
them home.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about how like some people just steal like stop signs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and,
that's
road
wild.
signs.
yeah.
That is so funny though,
All right, the
because
next one
it's
I
true. I know. I'm taking it. I'm just gonna assume that it's an
technically
extra.
illegal, but
see. If you see
Never mind,
a
it's just for
traffic
jokes.
cone,
yeah, if
On
you
the
see a
next
stop
podcast.
sign on the wall, we got
Just
it
for jokes.
legally.
Yeah.
Just
got
for
it for
jokes.
it was gifted to us.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
Another one is rocks are soft until touched.
Rocks are soft
Until
until
touched.
touched.
Yeah, like they're soft,
would never
but then
know.
right when you touch it, it's
We
hard.
would
Well,
never
but then
know.
if you
How would you know?
already consider rocks as being hard, they are.
Is that confirmation bias? Because you think it's gonna be hard, so it's hard to you.
Well, then if you know the term of what hard is, and then you say, "Oh yeah, a rock is hard," even before touching the rock, you would know that it's gonna be hard. Like fire is hot.
Is water wet?
Yeah. Huh? I get what you're saying though, Chewy, because then like if we had said from the start, like we're like, oh, rocks are soft, right? And you touch a rock, you're like, yeah, this is soft, right? It's because it's that notion of you grew up being taught this, because it's like I know.
Can you hear it?
I wonder
is
if
it
you can
catchy?
hear.
Farted. Gross. I know. I'm like, my dog over there in the background, sleeping good.
Yeah, snoring.
But yeah, it's also kind of like the idea with genders. Like whenever people do like pink is for girls and blue is for boys, it's kind of like,
Yeah,
well, who came up with that, right? Because what if
Societal
instead,
norms.
right? Because what if instead one day somebody was like, "Ooh, you know what? I want orange to be for girls, and I want black to be for boys, right? It's kind of like, oh yeah, and then we're all gonna grow up thinking like, oh yeah, orange is for girls and black is for boys and blah blah blah, whatever, you know. So it's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true because you know how in the past it was women in the kitchen, but now it's men are in the kitchen because they're like staffing all like the 5-star restaurants. Like they're like chefs.
Oh yes.
Oh, cooking is a woman's job, but
Yeah.
then all the chefs in the 5-star restaurants are men. Also, high heels were made for men.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
true.
suddenly when women start wearing them, oh, it's a girl thing now.
Yeah. But that is an interesting theory because it's possible because then it's like pretend that the rock is alive, right? Right. Let's say that you're over here like, ooh, a rock, and you're over here like slow motion trying to touch the rock. The rock looks up and it's like, oh my god, they're gonna know my true secret. And so they harden up.
What is this? Toy Story?
No, that reminds me of the scene from Everything Everywhere at Once. where,
Oh,
like,
the rock scene.
The rock scene.
What was the rock scene?
It was the mom and the daughter, and then they switch universe, and they're rocks on a.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically like that, right? Because then the rock's like, they can't know that I'm actually soft, so then they harden up, and every time you touch it, you're like, wow, what a hard rock.
It's a hard rock life.
Right.
That's funny.
Okay, so it says a truck driver that was delivering my flooring gave me this gem. The push for green lawns in the U.S. is by Big Pharma. The Cliff Notes version is that to get green grass, you need pesticides. Pesticides cause cancer. Cancer is good business for drug companies.
Ooh.
Mm.
Oh. See, that's interesting though, is because, so personally, growing up, I always had green grass. Always. Like, I swear I never really, my parents too, swear we've never really done anything to our grass. Like, I feel like it was like once in a blue moon where we would spray pesticide, but like for the most part, it always grew back green. I'm like, I don't know how much about that theory. But at the same time, I'm like, I feel like people say anything causes cancer, to be honest.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think especially for the white American family value, right? They want the green grass,
Yeah.
perfectly cut, perfectly trimmed, and that's like the American dream, right?
Yeah.
So it might just be like a propaganda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Oh, you need to have the green grass so that you could be the perfect family. You have the
Yeah.
perfect home.
Like the greenest
grass.
grass means you're like the perfect American family.
Uh-huh.
But I feel like where we live, I don't know. We've
No,
always had.
I don't think anyone
green
cares.
grass.
We've always had, yeah.
Although the other day when we were driving around, I did see somebody like watering the grass, and I'm like, why?
Yeah, we don't know anything
You're
with
supposed
our
to water
grass.
grass?
Yeah.
Our family never like did pesticides either, right? Not that we had the
think
money to
we've
do
ever-
that.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Weed killers.
Oh yeah, but
Yeah,
that's different.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's why I'm like, so that's why whenever I see like people on their yard, it's that pesticide sign thing. They're like, don't step on the grass, we put pesticide. I'm like, I don't think I have ever put that on my own grass.
I think that's mostly for like when people hire a company to do it. They're required to like put it down just for like a health disclaimer.
Yeah.
I remember being a kid and I didn't see that sign, and I was running on my neighbor's lawn, and they're like, get off my lawn. I'm like,
Yo, damn whippersnappers, get off my lawn.
Interesting.
Yeah, I just keep an eye out just because we walk the dogs, and then the dogs are
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, you
Yeah.
can't go on that lawn, sorry.
Yeah.
But they can't spray the lawn, like the little section after the sidewalk, right?
like by the street.
Yeah, by the street. They're not allowed to do that, right?
I don't know.
I've seen signs there before.
Oh.
I have too, actually, now that you bring that
So-
up. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, usually I just like don't let them walk on that lawn anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
even
Just to be
even with the
safe, yeah.
sidewalk. Yeah. A coworker of mine asked the patient if she wanted a yogurt, and she said, "I don't eat yogurt because it's made out of babies."
Huh?
She then stated that Putin is at war with the Ukraine because Ukraine is kidnapping babies to provide and supply the United States babies to make yogurt.
Huh? That's kind of
I feel like that's a jump. I don't even know where to start with that
it's not even a
theory.
stretch,
Yeah,
it's a jump.
someone said it might be a mishearing / mixing up of another conspiracy I've heard, that they used the stem cells of aborted fetuses to make synthetic taste buds to test creamer behavior flavors. In any case, absolute bonkers.
Yeah, because isn't yogurt
Yogurt is
dairy?
bacteria.
Yeah. That's why I'm like,
Yogurt's
what?
bacteria. Wait, yogurt's bacteria.
It's
Yeah,
bacteria.
it's healthy bacteria.
Oh, okay.
Healthy
Yeah.
bacteria.
Because I'm like,
Huh.
That's why when you get the Yakult, they say healthy probiotics because
Yeah.
probiotics are technically like bacteria.
Yeah. I don't know if I can get behind that one. I feel like
Yeah.
That one is completely
such a
dumb.
jump.
That one-
Yeah, I'm like,
that was just
holy,
silly.
yeah.
That's a silly one.
Yeah, and then recent TikTok kept giving bizarre suggestions where people are trying to prove the ice wall in Antarctica, that Earth is bigger and something is hiding behind ice wall in Antarctica.
Whoa, I've never heard of that one. I wouldn't be surprised. I
Wait,
feel like,
what's ice wall?
isn't it?
I think
a
it's just
wall
like
of ice?
a it's just a wall
It's
of
a
ice.
wall of
I think.
ice. Oh,
Apparently, I've looked at a map and it's like the top down of the globe, and there's Antarctica in the middle, right?
Uh-huh.
And there's a giant ice wall surrounding Antarctica. And that's what they're referring to.
Oh.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
maybe if we keep talking about it, our phones will hear it.
Oh my
'Cause, you know,
God.
our phones are always listening.
Dude, yesterday when
about
I was
ice walls.
Yesterday we were at Kureku and I was talking about the be who you are.
Oh, yeah.
For your pride. I opened TikTok to show it to you guys. Why? Tell me why. The first search is be who you are for your,
your pride?
Yeah, for your pride. I was like, are you listening to me TikTok?
Yeah.
That is not my most recent search. I'm like, yo, you are listening to me.
I mean, it is technically listening to you.
Yeah.
because
Yeah, I know.
It has to listen for, hey Siri, you know?
Yeah.
That's creepy.
But yeah, branching off of that, it says for the ice wall. So it's a weird subset of flat earthers who believe in an infinite plane. And what lies behind the ice wall was guarded by NASA, of all people. And the reason the infinite plane has
By a
endless
bunch
amounts.
of nerds and geeks. This
They ain't
big
guarding that
ice wall
shit.
is being guarded by NASA.
Huh.
Yeah, the infinite plane has endless amount of gold mines and gems, and they can mine for infinite money.
Sounds like they just want money.
That's interesting.
Looking for the pot of gold
Yeah.
at the end of a rainbow.
the end of the
That's the end
rainbow.
of the rainbow there.
The end of the world.
That's interesting, though. I've never been to Antarctica, so I wouldn't know.
I don't think there's anything to see
yeah.
really, other than the polar
Ice.
bears drowning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh?
Don't say that. That's sad.
I'm kidding. Global warming isn't real.
Yeah, it's not.
Hmm.
It's just hot.
Yeah.
Speaking about ice, that Walt Disney was cryogenically frozen, and they made the movie Frozen so that when people Googled Walt Disney Frozen, the movie would come up first.
Hmm.
Whoa. I've never even thought about that.
Interesting.
But couldn't there be like a loophole in it where you type in Walt Disney person being frozen, right? Where you can be like very specific with it.
But I'm sure
Disney's on
Frozen.
top of
Disney
Frozen will still
bought
be-
out Google.
that. Yeah. They're like
But-
anything you type in, we're just gonna show Elsa.
Also, why
Frozen?
does it matter if Walt Disney is frozen or
I think it's just like where they don't want it to be like blown up.
yeah?
Like they're like, oh, we want to keep hush hush that he's frozen.
Yeah. You know how like
Allegedly, I don't
when
know.
they say like Tupac, for example, like they
Yeah,
say
how
that
he's
Tupac
still
died, but then they're
alive.
like, no, he's actually still alive, and he like ran
He's
off
hiding
to, like,
somewhere
yeah.
on a
Hmm.
deserted not deserted island, a remote island.
So I think it's like that, but I think it's also kind of like we can't let them know about like these futuristic ideas, because one, that might spook people and kind of like make society like crazy or like
Mhm.
kind of like scrambled. But also sometimes people like to just keep things to themselves. So if they're like, oh, we figured out how to like freeze Walt Disney, for example, right? We're gonna keep him and blah 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 and like experiment stuff like that.
Like Futurama, where
Yeah.
you get frozen and then they like wake you up.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like, what are they doing with him being frozen? Are they like
I don't know.
Preserving his mind to make more Disney movies in the
just
future.
gonna say, they have like a helmet like that's stuck on him, and whatever he's dreaming about is
I
just.
know, right? They make movies
These are
based
all
off
his
of that.
movies.
Oh my god, that'd be crazy.
Inside Out.
Inside Out.
They're
Like,
looking at his emotions.
Yeah, they're looking at his emotions.
He's actually Riley.
Riley is Walt Disney confirmed.
We're over here creating our own conspiracy
Right.
theories. That's so funny.
Yeah, to go off of that, okay, there's the theory of like, messing up Google searches. It's one about Taylor Swift. It basically says that she went to the Kansas City Chiefs versus New York Jets game so that when people search Taylor Swift Jets, it will only appear news about the game and not about her going everywhere with her private jets.
What? That's
hmm.
funny. I wonder if people really do care that much about like Google searches though. For them to be like, oh, I have to like create something so that when they look it up, something else pops up instead of what I really want to hide.
I mean, I'm sure it's like bad publicity. They're like,
Yeah,
oh, we don't
yeah.
want that to be the first thing that pops up if you look up their name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could also be like a PR tactic.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. I feel like all of these are kind of like chumps too with their theories.
It's funny though. It's smart. I would say.
Yeah,
Like,
honestly,
for
that
Walt
is.
Disney one, like, oh yeah, we're gonna make a movie called Frozen, so that when people look up
Walt Disney Frozen.
Frozen, they only get Frozen videos.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's so interesting too though, because then it makes me wonder like, oh my god, why have I not looked up Walt Disney Frozen before the movie came out?
Yeah.
Like I'm like, I should have looked it up, seen if anything like popped up and if it was but it's like, what? Would anything
clearly
have
it's a hush hush because like
Yeah.
not many people know.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I have not confirmed that he was actually cryogenically frozen. That was
Yeah.
just one of the
Just
comments.
yeah.
Allegedly.
Interesting.
Okay, this one's funny. Had a coworker that fully believes the government controls the weather so celebrities can have nice weddings.
I mean,
Is there more to
No.
that? Oh.
There's a comment. It says, out of all the reasons to control the weather, celebrity weddings are top priority for the government.
Yeah, right?
for the government, yeah.
That's a funny one. I don't really pay attention to celebrities and their weddings, so I would not be able to recall if there was like ever a wedding where it was like a bad weather. I don't know. Do you
Mhm.
guys?
That's true though.
Okay, when I think of celebrity weddings, I'm assuming most of the time they're going to be traveling to like a nice, like weathered
Right,
country.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
destination weddings.
Or they're like in LA, which is always like sunny
Right.
Yeah.
most of the time.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, so maybe that's just confirmation bias.
Yeah. They're over here like, wow, when I had my wedding, it was raining hail.
It's because I'm not a celebrity.
Yeah.
Well,
The government doesn't care about my wedding.
if the government really did control the weather, then why would all these like Hurricane Katrina, like all these big weather disasters would happen?
Because, conspiracy theory,
Mhm,
because they accidentally did it one day. And so then to cover their butt, they're like, oh my gosh, now we have to keep it up because we can't have it be a one-hit wonder. No, not a one-hit wonder, but they're over here like, we can't have it be like a one-time thing. And then people are like, that was weird. It's never happened again before. Like, that's us, right? And so then they're like, shoot, now we have to just keep up with it to make it seem like a natural disaster.
Hmm.
My conspiracy is population control.
Could be that too. Yeah.
Ew, I didn't even think about that.
Well, that's why the whole fire in Hawaii,
Uh-huh.
how like people are saying that like they saw like a laser beam hit, and
I have
that's
not
what
heard
caused
that.
the fire.
What?
Didn't
Yeah.
a bunch of locals die?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but none of the
None of the
rich people.
tourists? None of the rich people? None
Yeah.
of the tourists?
That's us.
So they were saying how like
Allegedly.
the fire. Yeah, they were saying how the fire like affected all these like mid to low income people,
Oh.
and all the like rich people. Like,
Isn't
didn't get
that
touched.
mighty convenient when the natives are protesting?
Ooh.
So
Dang. That's interesting. I've never heard of that.
I don't know. I mean, a fire isn't really related to the weather, so but
Well, because
Actually, yeah. So in like the Sahara deserts and
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
they have naturally occurring fires.
fires
Yeah.
because of how hot it is.
And how dry everything is.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Allegedly, all allegedly. Don't find us. We're
Yeah.
sorry, government.
They start attacking our podcast.
Okay, next one is your social security number indicates which bank you were sold to at birth.
You're sewn to?
Sold.
Sold
S-O-L-D.
to.
Sold to?
Yeah, so that it's like a 2-for-1, all right? That you were sold to a bank when you're born, and that bank owns you.
What?
Okay.
No, because people were born before banks were made.
But what if it's like a recent thing?
As long as it was after 1998. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, social security numbers have been around for a bit, so ever since then, whoever had a social
Yeah.
security number.
Well, why would...
Shoot, I have social security.
Yeah, why does a bank... Yeah, wouldn't our... Right, if that was correct, like, don't we all have a social security bank? Is that a thing?
No.
No, not a bank.
But, like, government... You know what? I don't know much about this.
Yeah,
I'm not
I don't
gonna
know
say
much
anything.
about-
So,
I'm not gonna like dive deeper in that, but
yeah.
that's an interesting theory.
Yeah, social security is kind of like... You know how, like, in those movies where, like, those assassinating, like, those, like, kids who are trained to be assassinators always get, like, printed, you know?
Oh yeah.
Let's say social securities are our
Basically that, but
identity.
I mean it kind of is.
It
for
is.
the
Yeah.
government to track.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
really
it
is.
is.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, it is.
So it's not a theory. I'm kidding.
Because that's
No,
why
Just cut that part out.
they're like identity theft is
Thank you.
not a joke. Because if someone gets your social security, they basically have your whole identity.
Yeah, they
Oh.
can do.
Yeah.
They can pull out a loan in your
Yeah.
name. They can buy
Yeah.
a house. They can
And
do
this
this
is
and
why I
that.
say I'm not going to talk much about it. So I shall stop talking about it because I don't know much about it.
Okay, the next one is dinosaur bones were placed on Earth by Satan to trick people into abandoning God.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
You're
okay, yeah,
right.
because we've never seen a dinosaur.
You're right.
It was the dinosaur bones are placed by Satan.
Yes.
How would I'm confused though, but why would that make us like stray away from God?
Because then
Evolution.
we start thinking about evolution.
Ooh. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
You
I see tech number 2 over here is judging.
I think he's judging you.
Yeah, you really believe that we evolved from apes, from monkeys?
Wow, that was like I was the only one who did not get that.
We're all like,
yeah.
Lee's
I'm
like,
like,
what?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, this one I've seen like a lot for some reason. That Australia doesn't exist,
Australia doesn't
Yeah.
exist?
and that everyone is an actor.
What?
Okay.
Everyone who says they're from Australia is an actor.
Okay.
No, I was just saying, what about like if I were to visit Australia, then you're telling me that every single person in Australia is
They're
an
actors.
actor or an actress meant to misguide me and make me think that Australia is real?
Yep. So you're gonna go on the plane, but it's actually
They actually drug me?
they drug you and then they like
They put you in like
make
a
you
set.
believe.
Oh my
They put
god.
you in a set, and then
Mhm.
you're actually just in the set and not in Australia.
Oh my god.
Everyone's just a hired actor.
Yep.
That reminds me of that one episode of Scooby-Doo. I don't know if you guys have watched it, but it's an episode in Scooby-Doo where they go on like a trip somewhere, and then they like somehow end up back in time and back in the medieval times. And they're like, what the heck? How do we get here? We basically travel back in time. Long story short, it turns out they were basically like drugged, and the a director literally created everything to look like medieval times. Everybody who was in that town, who was a part of that mystery, they were all actors and actresses.
Hmm.
So imagine if Australia really did that.
That's crazy.
We can't be Australia if Australia doesn't exist.
Imagine if the people who control or will like
The
decide whatever.
It's the government.
Every time you get on a flight to go, they release some air.
Yeah, they
And
put
you're
you on the
knocked out,
plane,
yeah,
right? They put you
yeah.
on the plane, but they put like sleeping gas on a plane.
That'd be wild.
It depends.
Whoa. Again, here I am creating my own conspiracy theories. That's funny. Interesting. I've never heard of that
And
one.
then you get brainwashed to come back, so that way you tell everybody like, "Oh yeah, Australia was so much fun. Saw so many kangaroos."
There are no kangaroos. Kangaroos don't exist.
Who's that? Steve
Irving.
Steve Irving. Yeah,
I thought it was Irwin.
It's Irving. Or Irving.
Yeah. No, I thought it was Irwin.
Irwin?
Yeah.
But
Steve
yeah,
Irwin?
you're gonna come back and tell us like, yeah, I even saw Steve Irwin.
Shut the heck up.
He was still alive.
Okay, what's the next one?
The 5G waves emitted by the emergency broadcast test activated the COVID vaccine microchips and turned people into zombies / give them the Marburg. Marburg? I don't know what that is.
What?
I have heard about this theory before.
The
Yeah.
5G
5G.
waves? What is that?
Did you guys get that alert on your phone?
Yeah, I think so.
There was like a specific day where they sent out an alert to test on
Maybe.
all the phones.
Maybe.
I forgot what day that was exactly. But
And that was, they're saying that
Yeah,
that's
that
what
it
started.
activated
Oh, yeah.
the chips, the COVID vaccine chips, and then it turns people into zombies.
Has there been like proof that showed people are turning into zombies?
no,
No.
they're just saying because I think it was like so. There was an alert that went out
Yeah.
that was to notify us like, hey, like on this day at this time that we're sending out an alert.
Right.
And so I think this was probably created before that. This
Oh.
theory was probably created before that. So
Okay,
they're saying
okay.
that like
230 days ago.
30 days ago. I don't know.
I don't know what that was.
Well, 365 days
Yeah.
in a year.
So within the last
Yeah,
year,
within the
so
last
it
year.
wasn't too long ago.
So I'm pretty sure that theory came out, but they were saying that this alert was gonna release like 5G rays out into and activate your COVID vaccines.
So that if they ever wanted to turn us to zombies, they would be able to.
No, this was probably
the
like a conspiracy theory that they heard during that time.
Mm-hmm.
So
I feel like I'm so out of it with the conspiracy
Yeah.
theories.
you wanted the conspiracy theory.
I know.
Yeah,
I was thinking more conspiracy theories like Men in Black and aliens and
Well, we know aliens are real because
yeah, aliens are
you know,
real.
the government said they're real.
They're all hiding in Area 51.
Yeah.
the
Didn't you
government
know
is
about
saying that just to throw us off.
Yeah, because like for a long time they were like,
Yeah.
oh, you know, aliens aren't real, and then all of a sudden,
I know it was in like the last year or so.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, aliens are real, and nobody cares.
Yeah, nobody had a big reaction.
For anything, okay, go ahead, like take over the world at this point.
It's already going down.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Do
already
it.
going down.
Okay, this one says, met a dude at the gym that believed that the CIA had built tunnels throughout the Earth's core, connecting all the major cities. Was some kind of global takeover scheme. And then another person commented, did the lizard people come up?
That one. What about like the Earth's core? I don't get it.
Like they built tunnels throughout the Earth's core.
Those are the
it's
mole
just-
people.
Yeah, it's just connecting all
yeah,
the major
but
cities.
isn't the Earth's core like burning hot? Right.
And
Not
that
sure if you can.
that's not. It's not been proven. That's a theory. No,
Okay,
I'm
but,
kidding. yeah,
But if nobody's
is,
actually
it
been
is,
able
but
to like
yeah.
right? Because I'm like, if nobody's actually been able to dig from like one end of the Earth into the center and then like through to another, I'm like, we can't really confirm.
Well, that's why they have the North and South Pole.
those are the entry
the North
sites.
Pole is just one long ass pole.
From the,
The
what, the
north side.
top to the bottom?
It's actually an elevator.
Dude, that'd be wild.
Yeah, and
Wow.
Santa is the guardian.
Shut up.
And
That's
all the
funny.
little elves are his
They
his
help
army.
to, yeah. That's funny.
Okay.
Okay.
We're gonna move on to Hmong curses,
Superstitions.
superstitions. Okay.
Suspicions.
Ooh,
Suspicions.
shut the fuck up.
All right. Superstitions I grew up hearing about. Don't point at the moon; it'll cut your ear off. Don't
that
drink a woman's breast milk. You'll get struck by lightning.
I've never heard of that.
Don't let a turtle bite you, and it won't let go until lightning strikes.
Never heard that.
For curses, Mongshong men should not marry Vu girls because they'll be poor and miserable. Or 2, they will have money. If they have money, the man will die young. Yangs cannot eat animal hearts. A girl who marries a Shong man cannot climb up in the attic.
I've heard the moon one. When I was younger, that scared the crap out of me because I remember very vividly one time I was like hanging out with my friends, whatever, or my family, and I pointed at the moon. And this was before I even heard about that before.
Mhm.
I pointed at the moon because I was like, oh my gosh, look at the moon. It looks so pretty. And my family goes, you're not supposed to point at the moon. Oh my God, your ear's going to get cut off now. And I'm like, oh my God. So I literally went to sleep that night. I was like, oh, is my ear going to get cut off? And I woke up the next morning and it didn't. And I was like, you lying mother.
I feel like when I did hear about that, I don't know, maybe it was boys being boys, but I was like, whoop. I'm like, pointed at it.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, you're
It's
like, I pointed, nothing happened.
Mhm.
But yes, I did hear that one. I always wonder where this stuff comes from though, because I'm like, how do people come up with it? Like, is it kind of like they're just like he just for fun? I'm gonna make up a superstition and then I'm gonna tell people to keep it going, and then people believe and they keep it going, right?
Well, for the moon one specifically, I was reading some comments and they were saying that they actually pointed at the moon and then they woke up the next day with like cuts behind their ears. And there was even a Mika guy who was like, yeah, my wife's Hmong, and she told me about that. And then he did it, and then he also got his ears cut the next day.
Mm,
I would say that's like a spiritual thing then.
yeah. It could be
Creepy.
connected. I mean, the fact that this has been passed on for so long now, though.
Yeah, I'm
Like-
still terrified to this day to point at the moon though, so I
Yeah,
still
I
don't do it.
Let's do that tonight then.
No, I'm not doing
Not
it.
it.
On a full moon.
But yeah, so as
You wanna do this, Brianna?
suspicious, that's why I said
You
it.
wanna
As
point at the moon with
suspicious
me?
as I am about like these superstitions, I'm like, I still would not do it.
Yeah.
Maybe it
Just
only
to be
affects
safe.
you at a certain age. Maybe it doesn't affect you when you're like
It was
a
a
little kid.
Oh. Like if
Maybe
you're a
you have to be,
kid,
like,
you
an
won't do
adult.
it.
Fully
Go
understanding
ahead.
it now.
You can go
Really?
ahead and do that
I'll
and
do
just
it.
let
Yeah,
me
let
know how
me
it
know.
goes.
I'll
Let us
do it
know.
I'm
when
not
I-
doing it.
Yeah. I'll let you guys know.
Yeah.
Another one I remember, don't ever call someone's baby cute or good looking. Back in the old days, they take offense to this because it'll attract the spirits who will want to take the baby away. That's why old Hmong women would say, oh, that's such an ugly baby, to deter the spirits from taking a second look.
Oh.
Also, in the old days, people who wore the oldest rags they can find during funerals. The idea is you're supposed to be in mourning, so to wear your best looking clothes looks like you're happy the person has deceased, and we're celebrating the occasion. This would offend visiting relatives and friends who are attending the funerals.
I've heard of the baby one, but I heard the opposite. I heard like
You should dress your best at funerals.
no, I said the baby.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you said. I thought you meant like, yeah. I heard the baby one, but I didn't hear
Oh.
about that one. Or
No, but because what I heard was you shouldn't like say like, oh, that baby looks ugly, oh, that baby looks whatever, because then if you do that, you're gonna have, if you have babies of your own, it's gonna turn out to be like whatever comment you made about the other baby.
Oh, then your baby's gonna be
Yep.
ugly.
Yeah, so if you like see a baby, you're like, oh, this baby looks funny, this baby looks ugly, then in the future, if you have kids, you're gonna end up having an ugly baby because you jinxed yourself almost, basically. Yeah.
Oh.
However, I can also see it being the one where it's like, oh, don't say it's cute because then the spirits will want it. So I'm like, oh, I've never heard of that.
Hmm. I've heard one where I'm pretty sure I told you the story about this, right? But when we were, my friends and I, we were going to a music festival. We rented out an Airbnb, and at the end of that trip, one of my friends was like calling all of our names. Like,
Oh, yes. Yeah.
oh, like, all right, Chewy, like, it's time to go. We're leaving now. And she like would call all of our names, letting us know that like we're leaving.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, like, why are you doing that for? She's like, oh, like, just in case, like, anybody's spirit was like left here without us knowing. So
Yeah.
we're just calling them to come home with us. And I'm like, oh, that's scary. That's scary.
I always get my words mixed up when I say like and like because how else do you say it? It's like, oh yeah, pay, right? So I always get that mixed up because I'm like, oh yeah, mula or like pay mula, right? And stuff like that. And like my sister and her boyfriend and then like my parents too, they used to be like, oh, you have to be specific about that because if you say it wrong, like let's say that it's just me, right? And I'm like, oh, like well, I would know it's school, but like let's say that umula and then it's like or like we're going, right? And let's say that I use the wrong term. I don't know if it's pay or or whatever, but if I use the wrong term, I might invite a spirit to come with us
When it's just
when it's me and like one other person, let's say, because like one means like a lot more, one means I don't know, I should ask my parents.
Yeah, interesting.
But yeah, otherwise yeah, it's basically that because they were like, just be careful with like the words that you use because if you use the wrong one, you can unintentionally be inviting like a spirit to leave with you. And I'm like, that's scary. So that's why I always say it in English now. We are leaving, Alex and I. Yeah.
Hmong superstitions are very
They're creepy.
scary.
Yeah.
It's like, I think there was one where when we were kids, they're like, oh yeah, you're not supposed to be counting everybody's feet at night.
Oh, I've
Because
never heard of that.
Yeah, because if you're like, and we would do it just for fun, right? We'll put our feet together like this, and we'll count it, right? But then they're saying that if you do that, you might be counting somebody else's feet with you, even though there's like only,
Yeah.
you know.
Let's say that there's only 5 people and then you
Yeah.
count like 6 or something. Oh, that's
So-
creepy.
The same as the Ouija board. Ouija.
Ouija. I thought you were saying that to be
Ouija.
funny.
Okay. Growing up, I've heard that if you're in the woods and you hear someone yell out for you or call your name, you shouldn't respond or acknowledge it unless you have a straightforward, clear visual identification on the person calling your name.
Yup.
Yep.
My parents used to
The
live up in
skinwalker.
Laos.
The skinwalker.
Yeah. My parents told me that all the time. They're like, if you ever hear someone call your name, never respond. Because you don't know who it is. You don't know if it's like, they said that that's why in like movies, like in Hmong movies, when the guys will sneak over at night to the girl's house, like they'll knock on the like door and stuff and be like, oh, like talk to me, whatever. They said that that's why usually the person is like, oh, ko yon ning lo, ko yo da. Like, so are you human or are you a ghost? Right? And so my parents were like, that's why you always make sure. You're always like, well, are you a
Can
human or
ghosts not lie?
I don't know. That's why I was like,
yeah, I'm a
can't they
human.
just be like, oh shit, ko yon ning lo, right?
Yeah, right.
But yeah, and so my dad has told me that too, because my dad we've been telling him about like how
He
we
was
like to go
poking the hole
fishing
in the house, courting your mom.
No. Imagine. No, but yeah, because we used to like watch Hmong movies with them, and of course in these Hmong movies they would be like the scary ones where there's like a monster there or like a ghost there and stuff, whatever. My parents always said they always said never respond, and if you ever see like someone sitting there or someone acting really strange, walk past it. Never look back, because if you look back, you're acknowledging it, and then it's gonna like follow you. It's gonna like do whatever to you. What you have to do, you have to just pretend like you never saw it and just keep going about your day, going about wherever you were going. And I'm like, oh my god, I can't do that.
Okay, but what if you're walking in the woods and you hear like say your friend calling you from behind you? You turn around and look.
I think you can. I think you can
Like,
turn
you don't
around and look 'cause
acknowledge
you don't
them, but
see.
you're,
Yeah.
but you're trying to see and
Yeah.
then see if you can say
Yeah.
like respond. But yeah,
I know. Yeah, because the one that my dad told me, it's if you actually see it. So I'm like, I feel like it should be okay to turn around, but you don't. I'm thinking the thing is that you just don't want to turn around and respond, because if you respond, it means you heard them, right? So if you turn around, you could kind of like just play it off and be like, oh man, that breeze or something like that,
Wow,
right?
The
Or
trees are so nice today.
I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna keep spinning.
but yes.
Mm.
I always think it's so scary though too, because I'm like it's like unless you have like a for sure visual of them, and I'm like, I don't know, can't like ghosts kind of mess with your mind and like, but
a
that's good point.
skinwalker, and
Yeah.
looks like the person who called your name.
Yeah.
But then the skinwalker can't take that form without killing that person first, though. Technically.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah. Cause
Well, shit.
Yeah.
Your friend's dead.
Yeah. If I'm correct, that's what
Huh.
they do.
Huh.
What's supposed to do. But
Yeah, that one's creepy.
yeah. So that's why whenever at my old house, so my brother would sometimes say like, tell me that he would see me walking around the house,
That's creepy.
and then I'm like, or well, I'll come home. He's like, oh, like did you just get home? I'm like, yeah, I just got home, and he's like, oh, that's weird. I could have sworn I saw you go upstairs to your room. I'm like, nope, I just got back. And then, yeah, and then this has happened quite a lot. So he'll see like me or he'll see like my mom walking around. And so I'll like tell well, then again, my old house is also very haunted. So,
Ew, that's creepier.
yeah. So a lot of things has happened in my old house that I used to live in. But yeah, no, I would always tell him like, okay, like if you ever see that, first of all, don't follow it.
Yeah.
Call me, call me, confirm where I am because,
Yeah.
or, if you want me to, whenever I'm home, I'll let you know. Oh, and I told you guys about my other friend who like she would sometimes like see his or her brother walking around, but then he's still at work. So now that whenever he comes back home, he would always like light an incense or something.
Oh, I think I remember you
So that
telling
way,
us. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, so that she knew that he was for a home. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Creepy.
Yeah, another one is if you poke a hole in a leaf and look through it, you can see ghosts.
Oh, I've done that before.
Yeah, did you see
Really?
that?
You live life on the edge, Chewy. Because I
You're-
could never
you're
do
just
that.
trying to
Yeah.
get haunted, bro.
I've done that.
You're
like
trying to
between my legs.
have them mess with you, bro.
Like
I can't do that. I'd be too scared.
so, yeah. I mean, I was a kid back then.
Yeah.
It's funny though.
Yeah, but here you are. You're like, oh, I should do that now as an adult. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
I should,
no,
actually. I
don't.
want to see if it affects like differently.
I feel like it should be the opposite, right? Because your theory was like, when you get older, then you'll experience more stuff. But I feel like it should be the opposite. If
That's
you're
what
a
I'm thinking
kid,
too.
you should experience more superstitious stuff because no one's gonna believe you.
Yeah.
'Cause you're a
True.
kid.
Yeah.
Either that or if you're an adult experiencing this stuff, they just call you crazy.
And for some reason, like, there's that kind of thing of where like kids are the ones who for some reason like see spirits and like experience these things, and I'm
Yeah,
like, why?
like how they're more like sensitive.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Another one is if someone falls on the ground, you're supposed to call their spirit back and tell their spirit to not lay there on the ground.
Oh,
Oh yeah, I've heard that before.
I've heard one similar for funerals, where if you like,
don't trip or fall down at Hmong funerals.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Please don't.
I heard that if you trip, it's like a spirit tripped you,
Oh, yeah.
and then you have to tell an elder, and like you have to like usually what it is, I think it's where like you want to stay where you are so that they know where your spirit fell, and then you get an elder, and you're supposed to eat chicken. Apparently, you're supposed to eat chicken, and like
Is
they
it
do
boiled
something.
or can it be
I think it's
fried?
boiled.
Pretty sure.
You're eating Korean fried chicken. No, but I think it's boiled chicken, and then they're supposed to like call your spirit back. I'm like, what? So I've never been to. Well, actually, I've only ever been to one shaman funeral. It was my grandpa's, because my mom's side of the family is shaman. I was so hyper, like, is it hyper vigilant? Is that
Yeah.
the word? Yeah, I was so hyper vigilant to make sure I did not trip, to make sure nothing went wrong. Just because I don't have a lot of experience like with the shaman side of my family. I'm more so like on that Christian side, but I was like, Lord Jesus, to make sure. But yes, so I heard you gotta be careful not to trip and like stuff like that. And yeah, it all leads back to like that's your spirit leaving, and like you gotta call it back and stuff like that. So
Yeah, if I ever trip, just keep walking.
it's
I'm
over.
I'm gonna lay there for a little bit and just be like, oh god, I tripped in front of everybody.
Yeah, embarrassing.
Was
Yeah,
all
that was
the-
it.
Nice.
I'm sure there's more.
I'm
Like,
sure
I feel
there's
like
more.
There's
Yeah,
more.
but
We need to like ask our parents.
I know. But I feel like if I ask my parents, they're gonna be like, "Why do you want to know about this stuff?"
Well, it's from a podcast.
I know sometimes my parents are kind of like, if it's like a creepy thing, they're like, "Don't dig like deeper into it.
Mhm.
Which I'm like, okay, because I'm like, if you don't want me to dig deeper, I'm not doing it.
Just stay curious.
Just
Yeah.
tell me, otherwise I'm gonna poke a hole in a leaf.
Shut the.
I'm gonna look right at
And I'm
you.
gonna look right at you.
That's creepy.
I should do that and look in the mirror.
Don't do
See if there's
that. That's
anything, like,
creepy.
behind me.
Can you do that in your bathroom?
Yeah.
Can you actually
Yeah.
do that
I'll do it.
outside
So
of
that
this household?
yeah, can you actually not do that?
Okay, I'll do it in the car. I'll look in the rearview mirror. See if there's
Ooh,
anything.
that's scary.
That's creepy. Oh my god.
That's why I don't drive at night.
Ooh.
I hate
'Cause if
driving.
you're
at night.
driving
Oh my
at
gosh.
night-
Then.
Yeah, you're driving at night. You look in your rear mirror. See
You
something
know,
in the back of the
that,
car.
that reminds me, my dad told my family this one thing. He said that oh my god, my stomach, guys.
Yeah, I'm
So-
hungry.
My dad told me, he was like, if you're ever driving at night and you, like, all of a sudden it starts to smell really bad, do not roll your window down, because if you do, you're gonna let a bad spirit in. And I'm like, what? That's creepy.
Wait, so is it the spirit that smells really bad, or is
I think it is.
or is it just
Spirit.
in general?
No, it's the
that smells
spirit.
Like
bad.
kimchi farts in the back of the seat, and we're just like, oh
No,
my god.
well, if there's like a reason for it, like if you're like, oh my, I know my dog farted,
Oh, okay.
right?
Yeah.
But
But if
that's
it's an
why.
unexplainable
Yes,
bad smell,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it has to smell kind of like death,
Like
like
death.
rotting, like something
Gross.
Like, that's not
Yeah.
a
like some rotten
normal-
eggs.
Could be.
I mean, but yeah.
But-
So
Yeah, well, that's why when I told you guys that when I was driving up from Florida
Mm-hmm.
to come live here, my mom put a Mo knife in my car.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Not
yeah,
for
yeah.
protection against like actual people, but like it was like protection,
spiritual
yeah, for
protection.
spiritual, in case like if I do go sleep anywhere, like. Yeah, so there's stories of like how like if you ever hear anybody like knocking on your window,
yes, your window.
Oh
asking for
hell
help,
no!
you know, like
Yeah.
you don't open it for them. So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Oh my
That's what
gosh.
gave me like a rock.
My parents.
Oh, really?
too.
Rock?
Yeah.
A soft one?
Yeah, it's like a gem. It-
Wow, where's my rock, mom?
They gave it to me when I had my first car, and then I transferred it from my old car to this car.
I never got a rock.
Just left it in there.
My
Messed up.
parents, my parents did the same thing when I had my car, and then when all of my siblings got their cars, they gave us like a protection rock charm sort of thing to keep us safe. So,
Hmm.
oh,
Must be
interesting.
nice.
My parents care about me. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
Just
That's why I don't drive.
Yeah, I don't collect rocks anymore because when we were younger, we used to like collect really pretty rocks, you know? Apparently there was a spirit attached to that rock.
kidding.
And
That's creepy.
Yeah.
Soft spirit.
It's actually a pretty hard one. Yeah, no, but there was a spirit that was attached to a rock, and like stuff started happening in our house.
Oh my
and
gosh.
That's how my parents like converted from shamanism
Really?
to Christianity. Yeah.
Wow. That's scary.
So they didn't try to do like shaman ceremonies
Yeah.
first.
I don't know. I was really young back then.
Oh.
Yeah, so I am like. very
Lesson
small
learned.
things.
I'm also gonna stop doing that. I haven't
so
done it in
pretty.
forever though. So
I don't collect rocks unless it's a really cool rock.
Yeah.
Like it's like really soft and like round, like
Huh?
like a like I'm
Smooth.
yeah
You mean
smooth.
No, she meant soft.
I meant soft. It can be smooth and soft.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. We're gonna have to do like a full episode of just monk stuff one day, but at the same time I'm scared, so maybe not.
Yeah. So you guys can ask your parents.
Like scary stuff.
Yeah, of scary stuff.
Superstitions,
Yeah.
More superstitions.
But I also hate that stuff because then again I'm like a little bit suspicious, superstitious myself, and so I get like very anxious when I hear scary stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, now I have to think good stuff, and I have to listen to Christian music, and I have to.
You better pray.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the
But yeah.
supernatural and the paranormal stuff.
I like the idea of it. I just don't ever want it to happen to me.
Yes.
Like
Agreed. Yeah.
it's interesting to hear about.
Like it'll happen. I'll let it happen to me, and I'll come tell you guys about it.
No, don't do that. I don't even like hearing your
maybe-
stories.
maybe-
I'll tell you guys
um,
about it as a ghost.
I hate you.
Yeah, it's actually a skinwalker,
Yeah.
and it just looks like Shiri.
That's creepy. That's creepy.
Can you do it when you're not living in this house?
Yeah, right?
Don't be calling some spiritual shit.
Yeah,
in here.
for real. Then I'm never coming over ever again.
I'm moving
No,
out.
I will never. Not here.
Yeah.
But cool.
But yeah. Cool. Well, does that kind of end off our episode?
Yeah, think we've been already filming for a while, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
surprisingly,
Nice.
I thought
I know.
thought I
feel
wasn't
like it was
gonna
a
have
lot
enough.
shorter. Yeah. Nice. That's awesome.
Okay,
Well,
what are we gonna do next week?
I don't know.
True. Well, I'm not gonna be here.
Oh
Ooh,
shoot!
that's
right,
right.
we're gonna have to skip next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no. Next week is non-filming day.
Next week is
anyway.
non-filming, but the week after that.
Well, you said
would
you
still
have.
Yeah, because I'm
yeah,
busy.
you're busy. Okay.
And then you would be coming back that Sunday.
That Saturday.
That Saturday. So you'd be
okay.
pretty tired.
Well,
We'll see. It
We'll
might be a skip week for us. I don't know.
yeah, it'll probably be a skip week, but we'll think of something to do for the next podcast
Yeah.
after.
Sounds good.
Cool. All right.
Well.
Well.
Like and subscribe. It'll help us greatly. So.
And
Yeah.
we'll see you guys next time.
yeah.
Cool.
Ooh.
Bye.
Now throw in some background music and we start talking.
Yeah. Right.